I'm sorry.
Welcome back to the Faithfully Unfiltered podcast with Elle
and Nicole.
And today we have absolutely nothing planned because we just wanted to show up and talk and life update and that's literally it. So Nicole had an incident that you have touched on a little bit, but maybe this will give you an opportunity to maybe go a little deeper and whatever details you're comfortable with sharing.
So if you ever see me grabbing my cheeks, just disclaimer, I can't smile or like laugh right now. So if it looks a little weird, that's why. But 2 weeks ago, literally, we recorded, went home, had like a normal night, and I went to kiss my dog. So I had my dog for about 6-ish months. She was a rescue. You met her. Her name was Millie Rose. I got her from Buffalo Underdogs, and when I got her, I didn't really know. So I had pit bulls in a past relationship, so I knew how strong they could be, but I also knew how loving they could be. And like our best friend has a pit bull. I've been around dogs forever, so like I've just always wanted my own dog. So I was in a season of my life where I was very like just alone, so I wanted to get a dog. And honestly, she was so great for me in the fact of like she just wanted so much attention. She was such an attention girl. And 2 weeks ago, I went to kiss her goodnight, just as like I always did, and she bit about 50% of my bottom lip off. She sliced the top, but luckily she didn't like hold on and like tug and pull. Like it was a bite and then a release,
like
which
a
I got.
bite.
Yes, which I got it was like bumpy and like weird looking, but it was like just a bite and then a release, which very lucky.
Oh, you're saying like the bite itself was bumpy.
Oh yeah, like the bite on my like. Do you saw it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I know, it's crazy.
It's so disgusting.
It made my knees buckle, and I'm not like a wincy person.
Yeah,
like
not.
Blood doesn't bother me. Like I don't like to look at that stuff. But I was like, ooh.
Yeah, I didn't realize either you could like see like my bottom teeth. Like it was deep. It was a deep bite. And then so I like ran to my boyfriend. Luckily he was there. And I passed out like within a couple minutes. Don't really like remember too much, but then he called the ambulance, obviously, of course, like my mom. And then in the midst of all that, like I'm passed out, he's calling. Millie comes in, and she actually bit on both of his arms, like kind of going for him. And again, it's a dog, so like I don't know what she was thinking. Like,
oh my gosh, she was probably just in fight or flight at that point.
Well, like, and we have like me and him were going back and forth about like, did she think he was hurting me? Was she still like angry? Was she? Because at first it was an all-girl apartment, so I lived with a roommate with a female. So there's 2 girls in the house, and then Millie, and then my old roommate moved out, and then he was in my space. So like with territories and just trying to protect like her owner, or she was just mad. Like I don't know. I won't know. I don't know if there was a trigger from a guy in the past. Like so many questions that I have that I just like won't get answers to at any point. But so after that, from what I know, she calmed down. I didn't see her after that. I know like the cops came and they kind of just kept her like in a separate area. By the literal grace of God, I was in the best hands, like surgeon that I could imagine. Like after seeing my result, I didn't look at the picture for like, I think Mikey just showed me it like 3 days ago, maybe I think it was, or something like that. Because I'm too freaked out about it. But both him and my brother-in-law were at the hospital, and they were like, this isn't salvageable. Like your whole, and like you even saw, like how did, I just don't know how you put this together.
I don't know either.
And just in
really
2 weeks, like how, like, it's like uncomfortable to talk and stuff, and it's kind of gross looking at times, but like in 2 weeks, how much it's changed and gotten better is like genuinely.
No, it's insane.
A miracle.
I remember when I saw the picture that you sent of like what it looked like obviously it was fresh stitches. Like obviously it looked like crazy, but I was like, oh my gosh, I was imagining you with like nothing.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking you had like no lip, no nothing. Like, I thought literally from here to here gone. And when you sent me that, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, you
I'm
would have
like,
never thought.
No, literally. It looked like your top lip was swollen and that was it.
I know. Also, I had no idea like what I looked like. So like when I got in the ambulance, because I like covered my mouth when it happened and then passed out, ambulance, hospital.
Yeah.
And they had me just like wrapped up from like nose to chin. So I'm like, is like everything gone? Like I couldn't feel anything. Like I was on so many, and I was just in shock. But I had no idea what I was working with. And then when I saw what I saw, I was like, wait, like this isn't really like that bad. And then I remember texting you and I sent you a couple pictures and like on the hour, like it was just developing, like healing in only ways that like
God could do.
God can do. Like, yes, I had a great, like medical wise, like on that side of it. Yes, I had a great surgeon, but like,
but I don't think those are separate things.
No,
because God
like
can God not use a doctor?
Exactly. That's what I mean.
know?
Like he placed him there for me. Like he knew what hospital I was going to go to. Like, so that's a little update. That's where we're at right now.
No, it literally looks so good.
It's insane.
Like you would not think that the wound was what it was by looking at you, you know?
Also a little update on, so I posted a TikTok actually, and I don't know if you're not on TikTok.
No.
It did go, I got like, I think it's at like 30,000 views right now and like a lot of comments, and it's like 50-50 on like sending prayers, like you look so great, like the surgeon was great, and then the other side is like, this is your fault, don't treat a dog like a human, like what are you expecting when you go in and like kiss a dog, and kind of like the negative side of it. So been kind of dealing with that, and in speaking of, people are gonna have their opinions on like how and why or what, but she did get euthanized. Like that was something though that I didn't have like control over. So the county was like notified. The rescue that I got her from was notified. She ended up getting put down 2 days later. So it's like, I'm healing, I'm grieving, like I'm confused, like, but the one thing that I keep telling Elle and just anybody who I'm talking to is like, one, by the grace of God, I'm here. It could have been so much worse. I've seen so many stories recently about like how it attacked children, how it attacked, someone commented that their dog attacked her in her sleep. Like,
oh my gosh.
Just from a dog that she had for like 10 plus years.
Wow.
This girl, she has like from her nose to her chin completely gone, like full reconstruction for like years, like from dog attacks. And it's like, it's so insane. Real, but I just got, God was in my corner that night. And for whatever reason, like I told you, like I don't know why at this moment that needed to happen, but like full faith and trust into what is coming from this.
I think it also puts you at a low place where you need God. And I think that's why he a lot of times like allows it, because it's not like he's not still in control. Like he could still, there's people that like something could happen and he completely stops it. You know what I mean? Like, so he's still in control and knew it was going to happen and can still work through it. And it doesn't mean that he's not sovereign and he's not there. You know what I mean?
I think he's like more here. I felt him more in these past like 2 weeks than I have in a few months. I felt like kind of distant from him too for a bit. And I would always tell like my boyfriend like that. I like a few months ago I remember telling him like I just felt distant like from him. And actually I told you too, I couldn't like open up my mouth for like a few days. And you gave me a journal and I was like trying to go through my apartment like looking for something to like write on. And then I finally found a journal that you gave me like months ago.
Oh my gosh, I'll have to see it. I don't remember giving it to you.
It's like a blue and pink kind of flirt. It might be in my bag. I might have it with me. And there's just scripture on the front. You gave it to me, I think when I first had something with my tooth, like way earlier this year, like so long ago. And I had found it. I was like, thank goodness, because I couldn't like, when I pray in like my quiet time, like I like being verbal. Like I like saying it out loud. I just feel like I get lost if I start talking in my head. So I like saying it out loud. And I couldn't do that. So then I got to just writing it. And I was just so, even like you're like, well, God placed that on my heart to give you one day because he knew you're going to, and I didn't use it yet. Like I wasn't using it yet until now when I finally needed it. And then in those prayers, I was so desperate for him to come through to me of just like, I need you. Like, I don't have like the strength. Like, I need your strength. I need you. And like, there's something so great in needing to rely on him. And then he comes through. And that's like, then the next day I woke up and it was just like a miraculous amount of like energy that I had. I got up, I showered, I washed my face, like little things that just like you take for granted sometimes that you do every day, that when you can't do it, it's hard.
Yeah.
So then being able to take a shower, wash my face, brush my teeth, like just get ready. And yeah, that was just really low, but he's uplifted my spirits a lot. And that's what's getting me through all this.
He's still there in the pain and in the suffering for sure.
And I don't think it's coincidence either, because we talked about it privately, but not like on the podcast yet. But when we first started this, I don't think it's coincidence that Elle actually lost her voice, like bad. Like she was
random
squeaky.
Like random.
Out
No,
of
I was
nowhere.
like whispering. I literally could not talk. I had
It
to
was
whisper.
the craziest thing. And you also sing for service. Like you're a part of the worship team. So like not being able to sing, not being able to talk. And it was right when we launched this. And we were like, we missed an episode because it was like you literally couldn't speak words.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's coincidental that he came for your voice and like the enemy, and then coming for literally my mouth of what. And I think you texted me something about, what did you just text me? Something about like you just clearly something's meant or powerful.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I said I wonder what this podcast will do. Like this episode that he's trying to like stop, or the podcast in general. Like it's like he wants to stop, because people don't realize that's the difference between like, I hate calling it Christianity because it just makes it seem like it's just a belief, you know what I mean? But really from somebody who believes in Jesus, it's like, no, we're viewing these words as like the word of God. And what we believe is that it makes you free by knowing these things, you know what I mean? And so you have to imagine that if there really is like an enemy of God that knows that this is the only way, because Jesus says, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. Like no one comes to the Father except through me. And if he knows, that means obviously the enemy knows that as well. And he's trying to get as many people as he can to follow him or follow themselves more, and or any other path, any false religion or anything like that. And because of that, him knowing that this is the only way that can make you free, he'll do whatever he has to do to stop you from talking and speaking the truth. And even weird things, like you'll be in the middle of a conversation with someone and something weird will happen. And like, or people get antsy, they get uncomfortable when you're talking, you know, about Jesus. It's like you could clear out a room just by saying the name Jesus. It's almost like there's something to it, you know, like people know. I remember that happened to me too when I first was told, like, because we've talked about how we went to a medium. I didn't know. Like,
Crazy.
I don't think people, but that's the thing. Like, we weren't doing that to be like, we'd like to do witchcraft. Like, we were just genuinely like, oh, I want to talk to my ancestors or whatever, the people that I love that I'm desperate to speak to and get closure from. Like, that sounds amazing. And it's why, you know, the word says that he comes disguised as an angel of light. And it also says my people perish for lack of knowledge. Like, we didn't know. We didn't have that knowledge that it was necromancing and it was evil and it was wrong and that there's no Holy Spirit. So they still have that power, but it's not the proper power, you know, and there's no rules on that side, you know? And so he was capitalizing on our trauma and what we were desperate for and what was ruling in our hearts, which was peace. We wanted that closure. We wanted that peace. And so when we went, like, we didn't think we were doing anything wrong. We weren't trying to do anything wrong.
Or like dabble with anything or any.
No, like we're like, oh, this is good. You know what I mean? We're just going to like talk to, like, I'm like, oh, hopefully my dad will show up and I can talk to my dad. Like, that sounds amazing. But it's the spirits behind it, the real spirits behind it they're just dragging you down and they're putting confusion in your brain and they're just trying to get you to do anything. But then when we suffer, like I was telling you, like, he still allows that to happen, even though he's sovereign. And it's because people can see. Like, when you are suffering and you don't lose faith and you continue to persevere and you continue to show up and you're like, I don't, like you said, you don't understand why that's happening, and that's okay. It's not our job to know why God is allowing certain things to happen. Like, we can allow God to, and trust him. That's the whole point, is like, we trust that in the end, he's going to work all things out for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purposes. That's what his word says, and his word does not come back void. And if we believe that, as we do, and we're trying to share it with people, the enemy doesn't want that, because that's one less person that he has control over. And it's the truth that sets you free. So we have to renew that in our brain and in our mind. That's why I always say, like, you have to break down those strongholds and those thinking patterns and the leaning on your own understanding and thinking that you know everything, because you don't. And it's really in that humbleness and acknowledging that you don't know as much as you think you know, or you might think that it's okay because there's nothing happening right now, but you don't see what's happening in the spiritual world.
Right.
That's why it's really having that revelation of who God is, not about, just reading it to know it or just trying to apply it, but still kind of doing it in your own strength. It's having a revelation and understanding who God is, because the more you understand who he is, the more you trust him. And the more you understand that, even though, because a lot of it is you don't know what's happening. You're
it's a lot of like blindly trusting someone. Yeah.
But it's when you know who he is and you believe wholeheartedly that he is who he says he is, and that he's not a liar, and that he is truth and he is love and he does care about you, because that's what the word says, even when the enemy's whispering that he left you and he doesn't care about you and who are you and all of these things. Like, but when you believe what the word says, you can persevere and you can push through and just say, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why you're allowing this to happen, but I'm going to keep pushing and I'm still going to believe it. And it also gets hard when there are so many people's opinions, because sometimes it's not in maybe you've come to peace with it where you're like, okay, I know God's with me. I don't get it, whatever. But then there's people that will say, oh, well, you must be doing this or you must be doing that, or they'll just say all types of crazy things about you.
You deserve this. You, like you said, you must be secretly sinning.
Yeah.
Or God's mad at you, or something like that. Like, you deserve that to happen. And I don't believe that either, even with this happening. I think this is why it was very important for us to get through this episode too, like, as hard as it is, like, to be here right now. And if you were to tell me like a couple of years ago that I would be in front of a camera looking like this, like, I would be like, absolutely no way. Like, I won't get in front of a camera with like a busted lip. Like, that's insane. But I think that's why it's important, is that we're here. We could have easily called this off. I also forgot that's also something, like, on the way here, forgot the SD card for this episode that we literally need to record it. Like, everything has been thrown at us. And I think that's what's so great about us still
showing up anyways,
regardless.
And just
anything.
being like, regardless of what happens, regardless of where the conversation goes, like, we're here and we're moving and it is what it is. You know what I mean? Whatever happens, happens. But there is this one verse I did want to say, because I did have this. 2 Corinthians 10, 4-5 says, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. And through that, like, through those lies and through, and also how it says, the weapons of our warfare, which is acknowledging that there is a battle and there is a war going on in your mind. And once you become like a follower of Christ, your mind is a battlefield. And that's
it's
why
hard,
when you first come to him, like, I remember being like, bro.
Spiritual warfare was so rough for both of us.
Like, I was like, what is going on right now? Like, I felt like so alienated. Like, I just felt like I was so alone. Like, there was no one in the world that understood what I was going through. And I just got to this really weird place where I was like, I don't want to live, but I don't want to die. And like, I don't know what's happening.
It's that weird where you hear Christians say, like, I'm so excited to like go to heaven. Like, that's like, people will be like, what? Like, you want to die? Like, essentially. But like, it's bigger. It's more than that.
Right. Like, you're like, no, I don't want to die. But like, it's okay if it happens. Right. Like, you know what I mean? But it's not in a morbid way. It's in like a joyful way where you're just like, that's the joy and the hope really that he brings to you, is that you get that hope. Like, I was thinking about this today, even though I was tearing up. This is such a tangent, but who cares? I was like, randomly, I turned on my playlist. Like, I just shuffled it and I was just going through because I didn't know what to put on. And have you ever heard of the song Only One by Kanye West?
You sent me that for sure before.
Really? It's
You
by
sent-
Kanye West, and
You sent me a few Kanye West
it's an
songs
old.
before.
Okay, I probably sent you one on like Donda or something. This was like when he
Maybe.
was still not like, he was obviously Christian, but he was not. His music did not like
Replicate
align
that.
with that. Yeah, but he made a song about. It was basically as if his mom was talking to him,
Okay.
and like his mom died, and like then like North. It was when she was a baby, so this was like years ago. But anyways, it just like gave me this feeling. I literally started crying to this old Kanye West song that's not even like
I wish I
that
could laugh.
emotional, but it's like, it was just like, how could people not want that hope that like one day you're going to be in a place where there's no more hurting and no more suffering, and you get to see your loved ones and you get to hug them and love them and be there. And I think a lot of people do believe in like heaven, but they just don't believe in the path to get there in the way that we do, you know?
Or God's gifts that he can give you in heaven. Like
Yeah.
he does provide for you there. Like, and I do think people lack that.
Yeah, for sure. But going back, I was just thinking about how it really does come down to like the renewing of your mind, and how you can't lean on your own understanding, and you can't just think that you have it all figured out. And it is a scary place to be. It's a really scary place to be, especially when you have that heart to want to do that. Like, I remember in the beginning, like, I'm like, I want to like be able to like fight these thoughts off, but I don't know how yet, you know? And that's why it's important to find people like Barb, like who was there and helped me. And I'll never forget this one story. I don't think I said this. I've been thinking about how there's so much that like I have not said
Oh, yeah.
that like I forgot about. Like truly that I forgot about when I was like first on fire and like just going through so much. Like I forgot all about that. The dreams I was having, the visions I was having, the whispers I was hearing, like I totally forgot about all those things.
One of my favorite stories, which I know you're about to say something else, but one
No, go
story
ahead.
that I can't wait for you to share about, I remember listening to it outside in the summer when you were like sending me a voice message, but the first time that you heard God's voice.
Yeah.
Of how he
The only
the
time.
the sound of water.
Yes.
And like I vividly
was
remember
insane.
you telling me the story, and that like fueled my faith.
Yeah.
And that makes me want to hear from him. Like
you're
I
like, I
pray
want that.
harder like to hear from him like after hearing that story.
Yeah, so I can tie it into that because it was all around the same time. Everything's just kind of a blur because I didn't know what the heck was going on. But that was the only time I audibly heard God's voice. I have not audibly heard him. I do hear whispers and I feel
Yeah.
things, but like and I think he needed to do that to me because sometimes when my faith is like, do I really believe in this? I go back to that moment and I'm like, no, I know what I
know.
heard. Like I physically, audibly heard a voice speak to me. Like there's no way I made that up. And to the word that he used and the way that it sounded without me knowing what he sounded like, there's no way. But anyway, so I was here and I was just like at a point where like if I stepped into a church and there was worship music playing, like I was a puddle. Like I just couldn't stop crying. I just literally would fall to my knees and just start bawling my eyes out because everything I was carrying was just so heavy. And La Cherie, do you remember her?
Yes.
So she like came up to me and we were like praying. I was like praying by myself in the front and I just felt like a hand on me. And I remember getting like so uncomfortable like, where it was the enemy just being like, you need to get out of here. Like what are you doing? Like get out. This is weird. This is uncomfortable. And I was
people are
just like,
looking at you.
yeah, but I just like stood there and I was like, all right, it was Easter actually. And then all of a sudden, like afterwards, like I gave her a hug and I didn't know anybody yet. Like I had only known Maria and I gave like her a hug and she just like kind of like grabbed me and like pulled me closer to her. And she was just like, I was called to pray over your mind. Like you are going through like a lot of spiritual warfare right now. And she was just like, you know, you're, and because at that time it was the enemy like making it seem like it was God mad at me in my head. And I always would like be thinking I'm a bad mom, I'm a bad daughter. Because anytime I would lose my patience or lose my cool or not do the right thing, like I would really internalize it. And I remember when she was like, you're an excellent mother, you're an excellent daughter, like just speaking to these things that were just like literally tormenting me.
lies,
And then on top of that, like I thought it was God telling me those things. So for the first time, it was like, oh, that's not what God sounds like. He's not going to condemn me and make me feel like I'm a terrible person. Like
Right.
that's condemnation, you know, but I didn't know that at the time. But then I do remember like having a moment where I was just like bawling my eyes out, crying out to God, like just like begging him. It was just a really bad time. And I heard a voice whisper, surrender. And it literally sounded like a wave. Like I was like, that was crazy. But it actually like, I immediately got like happy. Like I was like, whoa, okay. Like you are real. Like I just like audibly heard your voice for the first time. And I remember the next Sunday, when Joe was singing, he was singing that song, and I know your eyes are like face, and he said, I know your voice, it sounds like waters. And I was like,
That was God.
I didn't know that. Like, I was like, that's amazing. So that like really encouraged me. But then I had to dig deeper into like, okay, well, what does surrender mean? What does that mean? Now I heard it. Okay, how do I do that? What do I do now? And so I started to realize that surrender is like, it's a daily thing. It's not just like, yeah, there might be a one time where you like, you say like, all right, it's time, you know, but then it's an everyday choice. That's why it says like, pick up your cross daily, die to yourself and follow me. Like he's saying you have to do this every single day. You can't just one time be like, okay, I forgive people. I'm ready to go.
I think too, that's why I love that season that we were in of every morning sending voice memos, and every morning we surrendered our day to him.
Yeah.
Every morning we were so obedient to it.
We were.
And that holds, I don't know, that obedience just holds a special place for God to move. And it's so important to fully surrender and trust into everything that he's coming, like, or to come your way. And I think that's why when things like this happen and like obstacles come, you can't try to force your way through it. Like you can't try to figure it out on why. You can't step away. You can't be mad at him. You can't. Yeah. You just can't do those things. You have to just fall to yourself and
lean on him more.
Yes.
Yeah. Because that's what he's there for. Is like I always had this toxic way of thinking that I was overwhelming God. How proud of me to think that like I could overwhelm God so he can make the entire universe and every single person and have everything in his hand, but little old me being like, hey,
this little like
I'm hungry. That's just too much. He can't handle that. Like, no, like he wants to, and it says like he delights in that. Like he wants you to come to him. He's not overwhelmed by you. He's not you know, like
your issues aren't too much for him. Like he's seen it all, he knows it all.
Yeah,
like,
and he's not like I always would think, and again, this goes back to how it says like you should teach your children. It says train a child up in the way that they must go, so when they're older, it won't depart from them. And like that is so important, especially in the context of like your life, because if you weren't shown, you don't know. Like that's why it is so difficult for me as a mom, because sometimes I'm doing things that I don't actually have language for or any understanding of. I'm completely doing something new, and it's hard. But a lot of times I did always feel like a burden. I feel so awkward talking about it because I love my mom. I loved my dad. Like I am not in any way trying to be like disrespectful, but you know, we all fall short. And in that way, I did always feel like a burden. Like I never felt like there was like an embrace of me for like, I have time for you. And so I think that's where it stems from, is like I always feel like I'm a burden to God because I don't understand how like there could be like a fatherly love or a parent, without feeling like that.
Feeling too much.
You know, whereas he's like, no, I delight in you. Like come to me. Like and I remember I was crying the other day, and all my stories start off with I was crying and then but I was crying the other day, and all of a sudden I just heard like, if only you knew how much I loved you. Like, if only you knew how I see you, you would never question your worth. And I was like, dang.
Tell yourself that over and over again.
Like, but then, you know, the things come and you're like, oh my God, this is so terrible. You don't like me. You know what I mean? And it's like, so just having to keep going.
Yeah, that me, man. Wow. Thank you for taking the reins.
Did you want me to?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I needed to
good.
To do the reins.
All right, cool. I had that thought because I was like, oop, I've been talking for a while. And then I was like,
no, I need you to talk. And I love hearing you talk.
I love talking. So it works out.
No, literally. No. Yeah.
So do you have anything else you want to say? Do you want to keep going? What do you want to do?
No, I don't think I think we should kind of cut it soon. Okay. But the only thing that I do just want to say is I think if we've touched on it in one of the episodes, I do know that we had said like, if you step into following Christ one day and you're saved, and you think like, oh, I'm just going to follow Jesus because there's just blessings and he's just good and whatever. Like, I think when obstacles come more and more to people, I think that's him calling you more and more. And I think that's crushing you more and more to develop into such a stronger and like that more like Jesus type of person. So when things like that do come up, I just think it's very important to continue blindly trusting in him and everything. And that's the only thing that I tell myself every day is like, I trust you. Like, I trust you. I trust what happened. I don't know why. I'm confused, but I'm not mad. I'm not bitter. I'm not stepping away. I'm not growing cold from it. Like, so I just encourage anybody who is facing any obstacle that like, just continue to believe and just trust that it will all work out. It will. In not tomorrow, not like the week after, but like it will in his timing.
Yeah, I think this will be important to say. There was another one I was going to find, but I'll save it for next time.
Can you find it?
I think it's Genesis 50, because I think it brings everything together.
No, thank God you
I'm going to
talked.
find it.
We needed you. I couldn't.
I got you.
It's like right now too, like Mikey's in the room. He's going to get mad if he hears this, but I think it's like splitting and he keeps saying it's not, but I can like feel it. I'm like, I can feel it. So I needed a little break.
No, I got you. You know I will always talk. You can always count on me to talk. Romans 8:28 says, I was thinking of the other one where it says God, or you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. But that's another good one too.
That is good, yeah. I was going to say that actually is good.
Let me stop before I keep going. All right, Romans 8:28 says, did you say keep going?
No, I was like, yeah, if you want to.
Well, I was just thinking about Joseph. I always was drawn to the story of Joseph. Remember, I always used to call you Joseph?
Yes.
But, he was like sold into slavery from his brothers. Like, God let that happen, and then for him to be worked out to then be like, you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. Like, that is trusting fully and being like, yeah, like that wasn't great. And what I love about Joseph is that everywhere he went, it basically says that he was content, not only content, but like he would do more than what was expected of him. Like, this man was working up his way in jail, being thrown in jail, like falsely accused. Most people would stay bitter about something like that. I probably would for a long time. But like, he's working in jail, working his way up after being falsely accused about something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or just in general, and then he works his way all the way to Egypt, and ends up being Pharaoh's right-hand man and in charge of all the crops when there's a famine in the land. So
that faith is admirable. Yeah.
Yeah. But Romans 8:28 says, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose.
Amen.
So it's all going to work out.
It will work out. It always does.
Yeah. Even though it doesn't feel like it sometimes in the moment, it will all work out.
I agree.
Woo! That's a wrap.